Now, every Monday, our first show of every broadcast week, we get the week started off on the right foot. We focus on the positives, if you will. We fill our buckets. It's a tradition presented by Kuby Energy called Positive Reflections. Now, we're going to get to an email from Ross coming up in just a little bit. Ross, as a matter of fact, wrote a note to another Real Talker he's never met, and I'm just going to be the conduit. But first, I wanted to show you this. This is Red Wings captain, Detroit Red Wings. I'm talking NHL hockey. This is Dylan Larkin, and check this out. This is absolutely hilarious.
Sorry.
Now, you hear him say sorry.
Oh, no.
Oh, no, he says. For the benefit of everybody listening to this on the podcast, Dylan Larkin in warm-ups feels terrible because he just shot a puck wide. He hit the glass behind the net, and he knocked over a fan's beer. That's right, he knocked over their beer.
Yeah? You got $20? I
think so. So now he's talking to the trainer.
I got $20 in my dry, so I knocked over the guy's beer.
You got what?
I knocked over the guy's beer.
Oh.
I feel bad.
So he's talking to Rick Zuber. Rick Zuber is on the training staff for the Detroit Red Wings. Listen to this.
In the Red Wings sweatshirt, first row. Yeah.
So Dylan Larkin makes sure, and we can see here now that the $20 has been delivered. Dylan Larkin, the captain of the Detroit Red Wings, who's having a great year, by the way, scoring at more than a point a game clip. And maybe that's why the hockey gods are smiling upon him, knocked over a fan's beer behind the net and made sure that that fan was compensated so they could go buy another couple of cold ones. I absolutely love it. That made me smile. I thought it was great. I already have Dylan Larkin on one of my fantasy teams. This made me think maybe that guy should be wearing the C. We'll think about it. Many important decisions to be made. And this email from Ross, this is the positive reflection that I want to leave you all with this week. Now, Ross says, Ryan, I've fallen behind when it comes to checking out shows. He says, so sometimes I'm a few days behind. He says there was a recent email that stood out to me. He says there's a Real Talker. I hear you reference her. Her name is Kim. Ross says, but she's always going to be known to me as Ripples, whether she likes it or not. Now, Ross says, now I'm going through the symptoms of a cerebral stroke. Ross says, I had brain surgery in May of 2021, and I am not the man that I was, and I likely never will be. Ross says, I'm a 38-year-old that's used to working and playing sports and going to the gym and hiking, but now I'm struggling to find a place in this world with visual and vestibular deficiencies. Staring the side effects in the face daily with little reprieve is exhausting, but it's important to note, not impossible. He says, I remember, you were talking about some of your listeners in past that may have been a bit sensitive to strokes. And you talked about your uncle who was a victim of a stroke, and he was not the same man that he once was. And he lives with that reality daily. Ross says your show and the topics, and in this specific case, the community, well, it's a daily source of motivation. It reinstills that there are real people out there. And that includes Kim. He says Kim wrote in to talk about the ripple effect of these conversations and the ripple effect that Real Talk has had on her life. And it just absolutely resonated with me. He says, I'm never going to forget moments like this on Real Talk. That talk just not about how you live your life in the moment, but bigger picture. In other words, the ripples. And he says, and while we may hear about people's unfortunate circumstances, it's nice to know that you are never alone. Here's to Ripples. That from Ross. So Kim, aka Ripples, you may not even remember making the comment on a Real Talk episode past, but it resonated with this audience member who took the time to get in touch with us. Your comment on Ripples had a ripple effect with Ross recovering from his stroke, and that made our day. You can send your positive reflections into us anytime. We recommend you send them by way of email to talk@ryanjesperson.com. And of course, we feature them every Monday morning, courtesy of our friends at Kuby Energy. Coming up a little bit later on this week on the show, we want to get to some real talk, some sort of basic questions like how come some parts of the world are totally back to normal and we're not? What are we supposed to do when it comes to making decisions on whether or not we should go into work or cancel our vacation plans? Is it cool to fly? If I do travel, should I be posting it on Instagram or keeping it to myself? These are the questions we know that you're asking. These are the answers we will seek. Thanks for making time for us today, friends. Make it a great Monday, and we'll talk to you again tomorrow.